All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the evening, DJ Just Jay with WANTÄD. We're here to talk about a story. Today is March the 6th, and I believe this story actually came out a while ago. But what we're going to do is not only we're going to bring everybody up to speed, but we're going to let everybody know where we currently are right now. As you guys know, we advocate for children first. I don't know what is going on with Cuyahoga County, but it seems like we can't stop doing stories about Cuyahoga County. Have you guys noticed that? We tend to do a lot of stories about Cuyahoga County, and I want to give a shout out to Michael Garrett. I hope that at some point, he'll, check us out here on the show. We are still pushing for justice for Anaya as they are in court right now. That's a story that is always close to my heart. You guys hear me talk about that all the time, and I'm hoping that he gets his justice for his daughter because he's damn sure has earned it. He's worked very, very hard. This is a story that we're going to talk about that might be a little difficult to absorb because of the heinous nature of this crime. So that is your forewarning for everybody watching the show. There is no need to flaggy my channel. There's no need to flag the channel. If this type of content offends you, then all I ask for you to do is just leave the video, right? I think that's a fair thing to ask. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get into this thing. We're going to talk about a lot of layers here in a very small amount of time. So you guys kick back, buckle your seatbelts because we're about to go on a podcast ride. This again in Cleveland, Ohio, Cuyahoga County, where all of my craziest stories have come from. How about that? A man and a woman who cared for a 4-year-old boy are charged in the child's death more than a year after his body was found decomposing in a garbage bag in the backyard of a vacant home. Guys, I'm going to say that again. A man and a woman who cared for a 4-year-old boy. That's a sketch of him. You'll see his face here in a minute. His name is Eliazar Ruiz. He was 4 years old. These two people are charged with the death after they found this boy's body more than a year after. It was found in a vacant home, decomposing in a garbage bag. This little boy right here was 4 years old. Guys, I ask this question all the time, and I really do want a real answer because I always wonder when these people do these things to these kids, I always wonder what is it that these kids are doing that are so bad? Like, are they talking to you crazy? Are they throwing things? Are they trying to murder you in your sleep? Like, I don't understand what these kids are doing that's so bad that these people feel the need to take this extreme level of violence out on kids that cannot defend themselves. In my opinion, it's cowardly, it's uncalled for, and I think that these people need to suffer to the nth degree. But there's a problem that lies in that. We're going to get to that. The names of the people that are involved, I'm going to get their name up on the screen so y'all can see exactly who I'm talking about today. Let me move past those documents real quick because we're going to talk about that just a little bit. This guy on the left-hand side on the screen is Romaine Tolbert, age 36. The woman's name on the other side, who they claim to be, she claims to be the wife of this guy, but her name is Joanna Vega. Joanna Vega, Joanna Vega, Vega, and she's age 31. This is her. Now, both of them are charged with murder, gross abuse of a corpse, and child endangering, permitting child abuse, tampering with evidence, and kidnapping in connection with the death of 4-year-old Eliazar Ruiz. I hope that I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I mean, no disrespect to the family. You guys know I'm really bad with pronunciation sometime, okay? But I'm working to get better. Now, the indictment was handed up on Tuesday, and both were scheduled originally to appear in court on January the 29th, okay? We're going to get more into that here in a moment. Now, this is just the story. Eliazar was killed, and I want you guys to catch this. Eliazar was killed sometime between March the 1st of 2015 and September the 20th of 2017. Let me give you guys that one more time. Think about how huge of a gap that is. Eliazar was killed sometime between March 1st of 2015 and September 20th of 2017. That's according to the indictment. They don't even know when the boy was murdered. That is a large amount of time in there. That's not even close. That's not close at all, okay? Now, a tree pruner found Eliazar's remains on September the 20th of 2017, which is where that date stops. And it was hidden in a garbage bag tucked under the shrubs at the home on Longmead Avenue, just west of 130th Street in the city's Longmead Puritas neighborhood. Now, the pruner cut the bag open with shears and saw 4-year-old baby Eliazar's full skeleton. The pruner cut the bag open with shears and saw the baby boy's full skeleton. That's according to the police reports. The house sat vacant for several months after a fire and was under renovation at the time he made the grisly discovery. Could you imagine that? You guys remember when I was doing the funeral home foolery stories? When they went up into the attic and found all of these dead fetuses? Well, I mean, of course they'd be dead, but they found all those fetuses. Y'all remember that? That's got to be a horrifying thing to find, you know, a skeleton in a bag. That's just, man, that's like nightmarish. Thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate that. That's exactly the word that I was looking for. Now, Cleveland police launched an investigation, but the investigation stalled after police and Cuyahoga County medical examiner struggled to identify the remains. He was so badly decomposed they couldn't even tell anywhere near what he looked like. But somehow they were able to get a sketch, and maybe we'll get into that here in a minute. Now, Eliazar had been dead for several months before the worker discovered his remains, obviously because he had decomposed to the point of the bones. Now, the medical examiner, Thomas Gibson, previously said Gilson's office was unable to determine how the child died and ruled the death a homicide. Now, Gilson said that Eliazar's was indicative of a child his age, and it appeared that he was well nourished. Now, both of Eliazar's arms were broken. I'm going to say that part again. Both of this baby's arms, both arms were broken, including a recent fracture of his left arm. That's according to the indictment. Now, Kent State University assistant anthropology professor, that's a long title, Linda Spurlock created a forensic sketch using the remains that authorities released on December 6, 2017 in hopes that someone would recognize the child. They used the bones to create a sketch. They were guessing. You guys catch that? They guessed, and they guessed correctly. Because what ended up, well, maybe I'll tell you here in a moment. I'm not going to jump the gun on that one, okay? Now, the medical examiner on January 24th identified Eliazar's remains after his mother, whose name is Ashley McCahan. I'm going to say McCahan. I hope I pronounced that right. Makuhan. Ashley McCahan saw the sketch on the news, and then she called the police. Now, tests confirmed the remains matched Eliazar's DNA. Now, McCahan, the mom, his actual mom, the woman in the picture and the man in the picture is not the parents at all. The actual mom, who I will show you a picture of here in a moment. Let me see if I can get her picture up on the screen for you so I can show you exactly who I'm talking about. Give me a moment. And we'll posit that's not the mom and that's not the dad. Those were the people that had the boy in their care. The mom had on a green shirt. Let me see if I can find her real quick. Right here. That's the mom. That's Ashley McCahan. Now, McAhan, this woman, the actual birth mother, had been in jail and in prison since February the 7th of 2017. I'm going to read that back again, and I want you guys to tell me what's wrong with this story. McAhan had been in jail and prison since February 7th of 2017 and placed Eliazar in the care of Vega and his godmother in Tolbert in 2015, McAhan told Cleveland.com last year in an interview while she was still in prison. Has anybody put that together yet? Anybody want to take a guess at that in the chat? Or if you're watching this on the replay? Anybody catch what's wrong with that? While y'all are here, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. 146 people. Let's at least have 146 thumbs up because I'm sure we don't even have that. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please hit the thumbs up. Okay. I haven't seen anybody say it yet. Here's the catch. The baby had been missing since 2015. Thank you, Jessica. Jessica was the first person that caught it. Yep. The baby had been missing since 2015. Thank you, Larry. I agree. Look at what Larry wrote in the chat. I 100% agree. I'm going to show you something even more weird about this mom. Do y'all want to see the video on the mom? I've got a crazy video on the mom, and Larry might not be that far off. Who was that said that? Blast 516 might not be that far off on this. I'm not going to read what you said, but I think you might be right. I think the mom might be culpable here. Yes, Athena, thank you. I'm going to read this back because I knew y'all wouldn't catch that at first. Eliazar was killed sometime between March 1st of 2015, and then they found him on September 20th of 2017. Missing March 1st, 2015, found September 20th, 2017. We go back down. The mom had been in jail and in prison since February the 7th of 2017. Anybody see something wrong with this story? Now, I might be the first one calling this out. And maybe you guys that live in that area, maybe this might help you guys out a little bit, because that's what we do is we take stories and we take a different approach. We look at this a little bit different, and it causes us to get a different understanding about what potentially might have happened, because we actually haven't been wrong a lot of times. This is the mom. Missing since 2015, but she was in jail February 7th of 2017. A little bit odd, but let's keep going. Now, she asked for her son to be placed in the care of Vega and Tolbert back in 2015. McAhan told Cleveland.com while she was in prison, okay? Now, McAhan also has 2 other children, of course. That's according to court records. Now, she had cases with the Cuyahoga County Children and Family Services that ended in findings that she provided insufficient parental care for her 2 children in 2009 and 2010. So she couldn't take care of the children she had, and CPS came in and took those kids. This is what's crazy about Cuyahoga County. The fact that children were in danger, like you had Tanasia McLeod. Y'all remember when I did that story? So shout out to Rayvon and his family. Because I just remember these names. They just stay close to my heart. Shout out to Michael Garrett and Anaya Day's family. Those people, they failed to take the kid out of the home when they should have, when there were multiple complaints made. Not only that, but there were more stories. Brielle can tell you. Tell him in the chat, Brielle, if I'm lying. There are more stories in just that one county of children that have been reported being abused, and CPS left them there. So apparently CPS in 2009 and 2010 made a good call on this mother because they took him out of her care because they said that she wasn't taking sufficient care of these kids. Think about that for a moment. And now all of a sudden, this one ends up dead and been missing since 2015, and they didn't find the body until 2017, but the mom had been in and out of jail. Like I said, man, Brielle's been keeping me, and I got to give him a shout out because he's been keeping me on track with a lot of these stories, and I definitely appreciate that. Again, if you guys are watching the show, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. I don't want to have to ask a whole bunch for that, and I don't want to stop the show, but do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. It'll help us out quite a bit, okay? Now, let's get back to the mom. Now, the mom had her kids taken in 2009, 2010. She did not have any children under her care in 2012, the last time Children and Family Services had contact with her, a Cuyahoga County spokeswoman had previously said. Now, Vega, the guy, or excuse me, let me make sure that's the guy. No, that's the woman. Vega, who's the woman in this story, which was her best friend, and this is some of it right here. These are some of the court records. You're not going to be able to see them real well, but you can go to cuyahogacounty.us and look these up on your own. Vega had 2 prior felony convictions, both for allowing someone to sell drugs near her young children. This is becoming a trend. What's up with the ladies? Picking these thugs. When you date thugs, you date what? What's my saying? When you date thugs, you date death. This is proof of that. The mom turned around and put this kid in the hands of a woman who loved thugs, and that thug and her killed this kid at this point. And that's, of course, alleged, but we believe that to be the case because of what I'm getting ready to tell you. Now, she was sentenced to 1 year in prison for both cases. Now, Vega, again, his wife, in 2007, allowed a man to sell crack cocaine near her young children, according to court records. And in 2006, she hid crack cocaine in her underwear as police arrested her and a man during a traffic stop. She stuck it in her panties to try to hide it. Now, they didn't say whether it was her husband. It could have been another man. Hey, you know, that could be another part of the story. Now, the man gave Vega a baggie of crack cocaine, which she hid. Okay, so it is saying him. Vega's then 3-year-old daughter was in the back seat. Oh, the man. No, they didn't specify. Okay, said the man. The man gave Vega a bag of crack cocaine, which she hid. Now, Vega's then 3-year-old daughter was in the back seat of the car, which is what court records say. Now, here's the update. That was all that what happened and what led us up to this point. Are you guys ready for why I said we have a manhunt on our hands? This is why. The search continues for the couple with numerous charges related to the death of 4-year-old Eliazar Ruiz after they failed to show up to court on their arraignment Tuesday morning. This guy and his wife. Her. These two, number 1 and number 2. Number 1 and number 2. They're referring to each other as husband and wife, even though they have 2 different last names. But that's here nor there. Again, Joanna Vega and Romaine Tolbert, we have clear pictures of both of them right here, were indicted 2 weeks ago on charges including murder, involuntary manslaughter, gross abuse of a corpse, kidnapping, and permitting child abuse in connection with the child's death. Their first court date was scheduled to be on January the 29th. They did not appear. Okay? Now, the couple failed to show up for their initial court date and are believed to be on the run, which is this paperwork right here. Now, warrants were issued for their arrest on the indictment, and Crime Stoppers is offering a not a cash reward, but a reward for any information leading to their arrest. Your tips can be anonymous if you know anything. Now, they quote, "There will be justice for my son, and I will not stop fighting until there is," McCahan said, which is the mom, pleading with anyone who has information about Vega and Tolbert's whereabouts to please call Cleveland police. Now, the couple was never initially arrested because the case had to be investigated. So they had to have evidence first. Now, once the indictment was obtained, detectives began looking for them, but they never located them. Now, the U.S. Marshals are also involved. Okay? U.S. Marshals are involved, and they're offering a $2,500 reward for information about the whereabouts of Vega and Romaine. Vega is a Hispanic female, standing approximately 5'5", and weighs about 160 pounds. Tolbert, an African-American male, is about 6'1", and weighs about 200 pounds. They both shared an address on Astor Avenue in Cleveland, Astor, A-S-T-O-R Avenue in Cleveland. U.S. Marshals believe the two are still in the Cleveland area, most likely on the city's west side. Tips can be anonymous. Call 1-866-4-WANTÉD, WANTÉD, if you have information, or you can call Crime Stoppers at Cuyahoga County, 216-252-7463, or you can text the keyword WANTED, wanted, and a tip to 847411. I want these people caught, and I want them caught quickly, because I'm going to tell you something. If they skip town, if I happen to see them out and about, I'm going to make sure and do my damn part. If you see something, say something. I'm asking for the people to come together on this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the new fair usage. I had to re-record it, so let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. Let me give you guys the fair usage. And again, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Please share the show. All right, let's get it in. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. That sounds pretty good.
Also, new details tonight on another tragic case of a young Cleveland boy whose body was discovered in a backyard. News 5's Homa Bash has been following this story for more than a year now. And Homa, we now know that someone is facing charges in this little boy's death.
Two people, Danita, meaning there is finally a little justice for Eliazar Ruiz, the 5-year-old boy whose body was stuffed in a trash bag and dumped behind a vacant Cleveland home. Finally, some answers in a case that captivated this city for months. The couple who cared for the little boy now charged with murder, felonious assault, manslaughter, kidnapping, and more. A Cuyahoga County grand jury just handed down indictments for Eliazar's godmother, Joanna Vega, and her husband, Romaine Tolbert, in connection with the boy's death. Eliazar was killed sometime between March 2015 and September 2017, the month when his body was found. He was identified last January when his mom saw a news report from inside prison. She thought Ruiz was being cared for by his godmother the entire time. Family tells us they are processing this latest development, relieved they are finally getting some answers.
Hashtag, where is the father of the two children that were taken out of the home in 2009 and 2010 and Eliazar? I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but where are the fathers? We don't hear about them at all. I'm just curious as to where the fathers are. That's the house.
The godparents of a Cleveland child found dead in a backyard, now reportedly on the run.
Arrest warrants have been issued for Joanna Vega and Romaine Tolbert after they failed to show up in court this morning. The couple's facing a list of charges for the murder of 4-year-old Eliazar Ruiz.
Tonight, that little boy's mother is opening up to News 5's Homa Bash. And Homa, she has a lot of questions.
Danita, she is in shock, still desperate for answers. She's not even sure when her 4-year-old son was killed, how he was killed, and now where those suspected killers are. Joanna Vega and Romain Ṭẹạd are facing a long list of charges: murder, manslaughter, assault, kidnapping, and more. It all revolves around the death of 4-year-old Eliazar Ruiz. His remains found stuffed in a garbage bag and dumped in a backyard on Longmead Avenue on Cleveland's west side.
He was a very smart little boy, very happy, very playful, rambunctious.
The gruesome, heartbreaking discovery didn't come until September 2017. It took another several months to even identify the child. Then, just 2 weeks ago, more than a year after Eliazar was identified, an indictment was finally handed down, naming Vega and Ṭẹạd responsible for his death. They were Eliazar's godparents, left to care for him while his mom, Ashley McEwen, was serving time in prison.
They'd rather give this boy to two strangers, practically. Two strangers. Think about that. Rather than the biological father when the mother's in jail. Think about that. Think about how insane that is. We'd rather give this boy away to anybody except the father? Really? It's a little bit strange.
I knew that they knew something because she had my son. She was his godmother. But it's just a shock. Everything's just a shock.
And still, the shock continues. The couple is not in custody, missing their first court date this morning, now believed to be on the run.
There will be justice for my son, and I will not stop fighting until there is.
Ashley is pleading for anyone with any information about the couple's whereabouts to give Cleveland police a call. Crime Stoppers does have a reward in this case. You can submit tips online anonymously. In the newsroom, Huma Bash, News 5.
Guys, do me a favor. I just looked at the likes. We are still kind of stuck. I don't know why people come in and won't at least click the like. I've asked you guys, please click the like button, please. Can you guys do that? It helps share the show and let other people know that we're live, all right?
A 4-year-old dead. His godparents on the run.
And tonight, U.S. Marshals joined the manhunt. Joanna Vega and Romain Ṭẹạd haven't been seen since they skipped their first court date after they were charged in the boy's death.
News 5's Tracy Carlos live right now in the newsroom with new information you will only see on 5. Tracy.
Robin, Danita, not only is the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force leading up this hunt, but they are also offering up a reward for information.
He was a very smart little boy, very happy, very playful, rambunctious.
But Eliazar Ruiz's short life came to an end in a horrific way. His remains found stuffed in a garbage bag and buried in a backyard on Longmead Avenue on Cleveland's west side.
We never give up. We never give up, especially on a case like this where I know the investigators that are assigned to it, they're parents. So this is certainly one that they're not going to give up on easily.
A grand jury indicted his godparents, Joanna Vega and Romain Ṭẹạd, on a long list of charges including murder, manslaughter, and kidnapping. Last month, the pair was indicted. Last week, they skipped their first court date and have been on the run since.
They probably knew this was going to come for quite some time, so they were prepared in the event that the charges were going to come down as a result of the investigation, and they took off once they found out that they were going to be charged. And now they're in hiding. Now they're fugitives.
Right, and that's the scary part about it, the fact that they knew that these charges were coming and they took off and ran. That leads me to believe that they're probably guilty. That's why I said that earlier.
Now they're fugitives.
Brian Fitzgibbon with the U.S. Marshal Service told me they believe the pair is still in Cleveland, probably on the west side. And now the marshals are willing to pay for information. They're offering a $2,500 reward.
The significance of this case, a little boy was left abandoned, dead for a trash pickup. There's a certain amount of passion that we take in this investigation and bringing it to closure for the family and in the sake of the little child.
If you have any information about the whereabouts of the pair, you are asked to call the U.S. Marshals tip line. All tips are anonymous. In the newsroom, Tracy Carlos, News 5.
Jessica asked, why were they not under surveillance? If you're going to ask that question, you would also have to ask, why is it that so many of these child abuse stories continue to keep coming out of one county? I think it has to do with the fact that Cuyahoga County in Ohio, in Cleveland, just has a ton of problems that they need to work out. I mean, and I think that's a great idea. Davon said it, the state failed this child, but the state is failing a bunch of those children there. And I hate to keep telling these stories. So this is how we're going to wrap up. And I'm going to let you guys go and get up out of here. At the end of the day, I think it's sad the fact that hashtag where are the fathers? You don't hear any fathers in this story. The fact that they were willing to give this kid, the mother, again, her name is Ashley McCahan. Ashley McCahan was willing to give this kid away to two complete strangers, two complete strange drug dealers. How about that? Handling drugs, selling drugs, probably doing drugs, willing to hand this kid off to drug dealers as opposed to giving the fathers a chance. If you're going to roll the dice, in my opinion, I think you roll the dice on the biological father. I think it's a sickness in our world today. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I want us to start fixing this. As I always tell you guys, we need more nuclear families, mother and father in the household. I think that if you have that bond with the DNA father and the DNA mother, I think that the children stand a better chance of survival and being able to have love, respect, to have the protection that they need more times than none, as opposed to strangers. The state is strangers. Police are strangers. The foster care system, child protective services, all of those people are strangers. I don't think that there can be any better parent for these kids than the ones that created them. You guys catch that? The people that brought them into this world should be the ones that take best care of them. And if we're not, if she felt that kind of way about not giving the kid away to the dad while she's in jail doing a bid for some bullcrap that she did, then I don't think that you should have created a kid, let alone two others. She had three children, more than likely with different fathers. The fact that we will sit there and call a dude a deadbeat and a horrible person, but we chose this person. The woman always has the first right of refusal of a man. If a woman don't want to give it up, a man ain't gonna get it, period. Not in this world, not these days. If a woman doesn't want to give it up, it is her choice. She has the right of refusal. If she don't want to have this kid, and if she doesn't want to have a baby by this man or even have the encounter sexually with this man, she doesn't have to. It's an innate gift that I continue to keep preaching to women that you guys have, and you need to use that special gift in a special way and start showing more love and respect, not only to yourself, but to the children that you produce, and at least have the respect of letting those children stay with the father. Now, my last point, these two guys, they got to go. So wherever the hell they at, if y'all know where they at, if you see them out and about, Mr. Smiley, Mr. Cute Face, Mr. Thug, Mr. Romaine Tolbert, whatever the hell his name is, age 36, and Joanna Vega, age 31, I want them found. I want to hear, the next time I hear about them in this story, I want to hear that they've been caught and they are currently arrested in jail with no bond. That's what I want to hear. There's no way that they should get a bond because of the fact that they've proven that they're a flight risk. Like I said, I mean, this story definitely did not turn out positive, but we definitely don't want them out on the streets. We definitely don't want them loose. We want them found, and I hope that we do. Guys, protect yourselves. You know the laws in your states. Make sure that you guys follow the laws. I never encourage anybody to engage a criminal because you never know what type of stuff that they're on. My suggestion is if you see something, say something. I would never tell you to engage a criminal yourself, because you don't know the legal ramifications of it, and it could also cost you your life. If y'all want to put y'all life on the line like that, I feel you. Trust me, as a father, I feel you. But that's a risk that you got to put on yourself. But I would never ask you to do that. All I ask is utilize that tip line, call the police, let them do their job. That's what they signed up to do. Let them do their job. All right, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. This is a short story. This is your boy DJ Just Jay signing out. Prayer hands up. Thank you guys so much. And and I hope to be reporting some information that they've been caught here sometime soon. Thank you guys. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace.